Single metropolitan location contains crime victimization likelihood 1 in 6 probability shocking. Statistics, not exaggeration. Perception concentrates danger exclusively within recognizable jurisdictions. Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles. Reputation dominance. Reality contradicts assumption fundamentally. Criminality hides covertly, operates silently invisible. Overlooked communities contain substantial hidden problems. Mid-scale cities demonstrate homicide statistics exceeding national awareness consciousness. State-by-state examination reveals uncomfortable truth. Raw data analysis precedes emotional commentary. Surface assessment proves insufficient, completely inadequate. One city's automotive theft frequency surpasses educational completion rates, statistical paradox disturbing. Another contains 1,000-plus violent occurrences operating with 20 officer capacity, impossibility, shocking. Different jurisdiction operates penal institution as primary employment source distressing fact. Geographic proximity, maritime boundaries provides insufficient protection against armed robbery, harsh reality. Surveyed human population ratios reach 10-to-1 proportions. Remaining humans present elevated danger constant. Selection consequences, financial devastation or psychological deterioration severe stakes. Vehicle dual locking habit prevalence documentation. Florida homicide capital alternative research encouragement necessary. Miami exclusion reality confirmation disappointing. Subscribe prevent accidental relocation tragic mistake important. Number 7. Sitka, Alaska. Sitka, Alaska postcard presentation facade deceptive completely. Mountains, whales, eagles, artistic aesthetic, beards, northern migration fantasy pervasive everywhere. Tourist marketing emphasizes tranquility, exclusively professional misleading. Resident reception varies dramatically honest acknowledgement. Sitka maintains per capita crime rate elevation. State leadership documented shocking. 81.63 crime incidents per 1,000 persons, shocking number extreme. Property criminality comprises 87% documentation substantial. Recreational equipment vulnerability, kayak disappearance, bicycle theft, bear deterrent displacement risk, constant troubling, violent crime elevation, above national average consistent documented. Median property valuation approaches $475,000 expensive. Rental average approximately $1,800 monthly premium pricing. Phoenix pricing comparison exceeding verification, surprising revelation. Employment concentration tourism, fishing, healthcare services provision limited. Halibut preparation expertise or ursine-related injury medical intervention. Specialization requirement unclear, uncertain. Reddit documentation, explicit testimonies honest, brutal. Personality spectrum inhabitants, concealment intention varies significant difference. Scenery attraction alternates with disappearance probability concerning trade-off dangerous. Precipitation frequency 226 annual days documentation constant depressing relentless. Geographical isolation roadway infrastructure absence permanent fact trapped critical. Crime acknowledgement cultural norm absence disturbing pattern concerning. Sitka characterization remote plus expensive plus dangerous, simultaneous combination brutal summary. Paradise conceptualization requirement bear deterrent necessity, equipment security protocols, premium sushi pricing tolerance, simultaneous expensive burdensome, reality acknowledgement necessary, $6 beverage acquisition plus marine mammal parking lot, warning coexistence shocking simultaneous. Nature mortality risk, plus inflation consequence compounding disaster double burden. Vehicle escape mechanism absence, permanent documentation, trapped sensation imprisoning. Morning exterior stepping requires external vigilance, constant awareness exhausting. Number 6, Cairo, Illinois. Cairo, Illinois. Ghost settlement functionality, documented accurately tragic. Navigation security requirement emphasis, critical essential. Cairo geographical position, advantageous Mississippi-Ohio River confluence, optimal location historical important. Historical documentation steamboat commerce flourishing, jazz entertainment prevalence, economic vitality, substantial past glory remembered. New Orleans regional equivalent concept, partial comparison, emotional desolation, amplification, significant difference, devastating, worse. Sleep-inducing rivertown expectation versus deteriorating urban environment collision, harsh contrast reality. Statistical documentation availability limited. Unfortunately incomplete, inadequate. Violent criminality per capita, 1,200 per 100,000 exceeding shocking, extreme, alarming. Five-fold national average multiplication, confirmed, disturbing, serious. Property criminality, elevation, despite theft subject availability, scarcity, paradox, puzzling, strange. Demographic reduction 70-year documentation 15,000 baseline to under 1,500 contemporary contraction catastrophic exodus. Median property valuation $29,000, affordable, but abandoned worthless. Acquisition demand absence notable nobody wants unwanted. Employment selection autonomy allowance. Culmination disappointment. Guaranteed, certain, assured. Decline characterization insufficiency, documented, obvious, visible. Infrastructure abandonment, economic collapse. Institutional hope departure synchronous occurrence, simultaneous tragedy complete. Reddit contribution brutal candor explicit harsh judgment. Cairo residence negation. Cairo survival affirmation distinction emphasis, survival mode difficult. Cheap housing offset negation recognition obvious immediate. Window boarding ubiquity documentation pervasive everywhere visual. Generational deprivation presence, substantial systemic. Nocturnal exterior avoidance requirement necessary mandatory. Property acquisition bargain presentation versus grocery. Access 10-mile distance contradiction, harsh, brutal. Cairo characterization, city equivalent negation, escape room designation, alternative comparison uncomfortable, puzzle documentation absence no clues lost, exit mechanism failure, permanent trapped feeling hopeless, small population crime rate contradiction explanation, elusiveness, puzzling strange, confusing. Remaining resident status questioning, legitimate uncertainty necessary, river encirclement plus regret saturation metaphor, apt description, accurate. Number 5, Gallup, New Mexico. Gallup Route 66 traversal criminal activity wildness simultaneous shocking dangerous. Gallup gas station turquoise souvenir hiking expectation, typical deceptive. Classic highway nostalgia aesthetic surface presentation, deceptive appearance, misleading. Small municipality, surface appearance, deceiving, dangerous, hazardous. Business window barricade, ubiquity negation, false appearance, surprising reality shocking. Violent criminality per capita, 1,992 per 100,000 documentation alarming extreme. Five-fold national average approximation, confirmed, disturbing, serious. Assault commonality punch card marketing humorous suggestion, appropriate commentary dark. Property criminality elevation, severe documented troubling concerning. 6,800 plus per 100,000 rate documentation, troubling alarming. Secured object absence displacement presumption, accurate assumption, correct. Median household monetary receipt $37,000 approximate tight limited. Poverty rate 30+ percentage documentation substantial systemic. Rental average $850, affordable appearance surface deceptive. Affordability illusion presence recognition necessary important critical. Medical bill requirement probability substantial concern realistic. Component loss budgeting necessity ongoing constant perpetual. career opportunities, healthcare, education, tourism, robbery, victimization, employment, alternative, darkly humorous. Business window security bar ubiquity, including frozen dairy acquisition location acknowledgement, shocking, ironic. Shopping cart security measures, documentation, unexpected emphasis, surprising, unusual. Ambiance characterization, rustic southwest town negation. Autonomous escape mechanism, resemblance cactus, vegetation accompaniment metaphor, apt. Atmospheric sensory experience, disruption, window descent, rapid sudden, air quality expectation versus television theft witness occurrence, documentation shocking, unbelievable. Gallup characterization summary, sunset aesthetic, plus 1 in 5 assault probability, acceptability assessment, question valid serious. Number 4, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Pine Bluff, Arkansas's firearm discharge frequency exceeds religious gathering acoustic documentation statistical assertion disturbing shocking, hallmark production location aesthetic expectation porch abundance, aged brick construction prevalence, confectionery aroma, anticipation, pleasant surface deceiving, small municipality southern presentation, superficial tree population, human population ratio, superiority, ecological peaceful, universal greeting practice demographic regardless tradition, southern friendly, superficial assessment conclusion, quietude abundance, budget accommodation feasibility, metropolitan escape destination appeal, deceptive false. Subsurface reality revelation complications, substantial documentation, shocking, alarming. Violent criminality per capita 1,469 per 100,000 extreme disturbing top ranking. American dangerous city ranking contemporary top-tier positioning, distressing, horrifying. Robbery, assault aggravation. Firearm violence national average exceeding substantial documentation, troubling, serious. Median monetary receipt annual $35,000, approximate tight limited. Property affordability, surface median valuation $84,000 attractive, rental average $720 affordable appealing, demographic reduction recent decade 20% population decline, documented alarming troubling. Resident behavior, door locking prevalence, security consciousness, elevated constant necessary. Reddit contribution, explicit harsh commentary expression, brutal honest candid. Burger acquisition. Projectile victimization risk. Religious blessing single location block accessibility. Simultaneous possibility, shocking, concerning. Affordability versus security. Trade-off, fundamental recognition requirement, difficult balance, impossible. Underfunded public services, employment limitation substantial, headline violence vocabulary, prevalence consistent disturbing ongoing, video surveillance device, functionality employment documentation exceeding paradox, ironic depression, sad. Number 3, Riviera Beach, Florida. Riviera Beach watercraft abundance, vegetation tropical, violent criminality rate Miami comparison, exceeding documented shocking surprising. Marketing expectation presentation waterfront residential structures, luxury appealing false, chromatic sunset atmosphere, vivid beautiful deceptive, musical Caribbean entertainment pervasive surface illusory. Brochure documentation, typical luxury maritime vessel abundance promised false, atmospheric tranquility promised, absent reality, marine mammal performance, entertainment guaranteed, misleading. Violent criminality per capita, 1,295 per 100,000, alarming, extreme, shocking. Miami safety comparison, disadvantageous positioning, significant, startling, disturbing. Burglary, assault, robbery, frequency, elevated, substantial, troubling, consistent, alarming. Property criminality, 3,500 plus per 100,000 concerning, high. Median household monetary receipt, $50,000 approximate middling. Rental average, $1,900. despite affordability, apparent contradiction pricing, expensive paradox confusing. West Palm Beach proximity, safety dissociation reality, disconnect, important critical. Riviera Beach residence implications, multiple visual acquisition pleasant beautiful appealing, atmospheric sensation enjoyable nice surface. Security documentation requirement, essential important critical, rental expense elevation substantial concerning expensive, acoustic emergency response 3 a.m., recurring constant disturbing exhausting, emotional consequence, documented paradise, sentiment alternation, followed by emergency service repetition patterns, exhausting depressing, consumable acquisition concurrent with maritime vehicle theft witness, occurrence, shocking, simultaneous, unbelievable, logical contradiction waterfront location plus assault rate Detroit comparison, exceeding paradox, disturbing, puzzling, confusing, dining experience plus weaponized utensil utilization, risk, simultaneous concern, dark, humorous. Parking availability, absence documented automated valet removal or vehicle burglary occurrence, competing possibilities, risky, either way, impossible. Number 2, Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe, Louisiana, charm apparent deceptive false, waterway aesthetic, appealing beautiful, homicide rate Chicago comparison, exceeding alarming shocking statistic. Surface presentation, deceptive temporal deceleration sensation, vegetation aesthetic, pleasant comfortable beautiful. Commercial establishments familiar, nostalgic appealing, universal greeting practice tradition, southern authentic genuine. Expectation typical, crustacean festivities expected anticipated false, athletic conference cultural SEC traditions, porch wisdom traditional southern. Stereotype comfortable appealing, outcome actual violent criminality GTA franchise resemblance shocking gaming metaphor dark. Violent criminality per capita, 2,400 plus per 100,000 extreme, distressing alarming. National ranking superiority, distressing documentation alarming shocking. Property criminality, equivalent severity, concurrent documentation troubling equal. 1 in 18 possession disappearance probability, alarming concerning frightening. Median household monetary income $32,000, low approximate tight limited. Poverty rate 35+%, substantial documentation affecting systemic. Living expense reduction advantage, nocturnal quietude absence disadvantage correlation inverse relationship depressing. Rental average $850 affordable surface. Employment healthcare education concentration limited options. Restricted narrow market opportunity constraint significant limiting troubling. Monroe residence difficulty level maximum selection challenging. Extreme difficult hard. Cultural abundance acknowledged genuinely. Culinary excellence, recognized authentic real. Window boarding ubiquity prevalent, visible everywhere. Commercial vacancy, abundant visible depressing. Parking location prohibitions, strict enforcement institutional everywhere. Emotional characterization, contradictory municipal affection, simultaneous with wallet larceny occurrence. Documented. Paradox, confusing. Criminality velocity, humidity velocity. Comparison, exceeding phenomenon puzzling, disturbing, confusing. Road navigation difficulty, substantial flooding intersection recurrence. Infrastructure construction, perpetual endless frustrating, directional confusion. Universal persistent, frustrating, disorienting. Atmospheric characterization, vivid warmth, intensity, oppressive, suffocating, uncomfortable. Maritime food preparation aroma, pleasant, appetizing, tempting. Acoustic insect emission, constant cicada, annoying, persistent. Beverage consumption followed by acoustic altercation siren, emergency response, exterior sprinting, documented, shocking, simultaneous. Number 1, Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana, Michael Jackson production contribution, past notable cultural significant, contemporary violent criminality, leadership, national ranking distressing, tragic transformation complete. Historical, metallurgical, manufacturing, prosperity, regional wealth, leadership, documented, former, glorious, remembered past. Contemporary, post-apocalyptic, cinematic, aesthetic, present, depressing, dark, grim, exhausted character portrayal, accurate, apt, fitting, budget reduction, mid-production metaphor, apt, darkly humorous, sad. Violent criminality per capita 3,000 plus per 100,000 extreme, alarming, shocking. Eightfold national average multiplication. Shocking, staggering, unbelievable. Property criminality elevation. Continued, documented, troubling, systematic. Demographic collapse. Documented 175,000 baseline to under 70,000. Contemporary catastrophic exodus escape. Resident evacuation versus relocation terminology. Distinction, significant, important, critical. Median property valuation $55,000 bargain appearance. Deceptive surface cheap. Economic appeal, structural integrity absence. Paradox, troubling, concerning, confusing. Employment market limited healthcare, logistic distribution, Gary departure primary option, escape necessary. Currency affordability versus safety equilibrium maintenance difficulty constant frustrating impossible. Educational funding limitation persistent chronic problem systemic. Public service documentation mediocrity, chronic systemic endemic. Porch illumination functionality, safety correlation direct important essential. Property acquisition vehicle, valuation inferiority, paradox, shocking comparison disturbing, window security bar installation, precedence, aesthetic, modification, necessary, protective mandatory, window boarding commercial establishment ubiquity, documentation, disturbing pervasive, $12,000 property, listing Zillow documentation accuracy, verification, shocking affordable degraded worthless. Mountain bicycle valuation comparison, unfortunate dark humor depressing. Structural compromise documentation property designation, invalidation frequent alarming ongoing. Ceiling absence exterior recreational space. Designation humorous observation, dark comedy sad. Gary residence psychological preparation requirement, essential serious, important critical, or extended habitation avoidance. Recommendations strongly suggested necessary. Pessimistic conclusion documentation. Gary numerical ranking ascendant trajectory possibility limitation acknowledgement. Grim depressing final thought dark. Only direction remaining upward trajectory unlikely unless. Miracle intervention divine impossible. Subscribe recommends safety consideration priority paramount absolute essential.